Hey there, folks. My name's Frank Sinatra. But back when I first showed up in the world, people just called me Frankie. I was born in Hoboken, New Jersey, on December 12th, 1915. Funny thing is, I almost didn't make it that day. The doctor thought I was stillborn until my grandmother splashed me with cold water, and I cried my way into life. My mom, Dolly, was a strong Italian woman, tough as nails and twice as loud. She worked as a midwife and helped deliver babies all over Hoboken. My father, Marty, was a boxer, known as Marty O'Brien. Yeah, an Irish name for an Italian guy. Go figure. We didn't have much money, but we had plenty of heart. Hoboken was full of immigrants chasing the American dream. The streets were tough, but music was everywhere. As a kid, I wasn't much into school. I'd sit in class, staring out the window, dreaming about singing on big stages. My teachers said I'd never amount to much. Guess I proved them wrong later, huh? My first microphone was a broomstick, and my first audience was my mom. I'd sing for her while she cooked, and she'd yell, "Sing louder, Frankie! Don't be shy!" I guess that's where I learned to project my voice. I was obsessed with Bing Crosby. The guy had a smooth voice and a charm that made the world stop and listen. I'd imitate him for hours, trying to find my own rhythm. Eventually, I realized I didn't want to sound like Bing. I wanted to sound like me. When I was a teenager, I started singing in little bars around town. I'd make a few bucks a night, enough to help my folks a bit. Sometimes the crowd was loud, drunk, and rude, but man, I loved every minute of it. One night, a guy from a local band called the Hoboken Four heard me sing. He said, "Kid, you've got something special." That's how I joined my first real group. We even went on a radio show called Major Beau's Amateur Hour. We won the contest. Can you believe that? Suddenly, people started recognizing my voice. It felt like the first spark of something big, though I had no idea how far it would go. After that, I worked with a few bands, but it wasn't until I joined Harry James's orchestra that things really took off. Harry gave me a shot when no one else would. He said, "Frank, kid, you've got the tone people will remember." My first record with Harry was from the bottom of my heart. It didn't sell much, but it meant the world to me. I still remember hearing my voice on the radio for the first time. It felt like touching the stars. A year later, Tommy Dorsey came calling. Now that was a big deal. His band was one of the hottest in the country, and when I joined them, everything changed. Suddenly, I wasn't just a kid from Hoboken. I was Frank Sinatra, the singer people couldn't stop talking about. Touring with Tommy taught me discipline, how to breathe, how to hold a note, how to feel a song. He was like a musical father to me. But deep down, I knew one day I'd have to go solo. Going solo wasn't easy. Leaving Tommy Dorsey's band felt like jumping off a moving train. Risky and loud. But I wanted freedom, and I knew I had to find my own sound. Tommy wasn't happy, but a man's gotta follow his heart. In 1942, I started performing on my own, and man, the crowds went crazy. Girls would scream and faint at my shows. They called it Sinatra Mania. I never expected that kind of attention. I was just singing from the heart. During World War II, my songs hit deep, tunes about love, longing, and home. Soldiers overseas wrote me letters saying my voice reminded them of what they were fighting for. But fame's a funny thing. It gives and it takes. The press loved me one minute and tore me apart the next. Rumors, scandals, politics, I got caught in all of it. Then there was Ava Gardner, wild, beautiful, and impossible to forget. We loved hard and fought harder. Being with her was like holding fire in your hands, thrilling and dangerous. When our marriage fell apart, so did I. My career hit rock bottom. Clubs stopped booking me, and record companies stopped calling. I went from sold-out arenas to begging for gigs. That was the darkest time of my life. People said I was done. They whispered, Sinatra's washed up. But something inside me refused to quit. I knew I still had songs left to sing, stories left to tell. Then came From Here to Eternity. I begged for that role, literally begged. No one believed in me, but I proved I could act. When I won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, the world looked at me differently again. After that, the music came back stronger than ever. Young at heart, Come Fly With Me, I've Got You Under My Skin. Those songs weren't just hits, they were pieces of my soul. In the 1950s, I formed the Rat Pack. Me, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, and Peter Lawford. We laughed, sang, partied, and took over Las Vegas. We weren't just friends, we were a brotherhood. Vegas was our playground. We'd perform at night, gamble till sunrise, and charm every crowd that came through the door. People said we made Vegas cool, and maybe they were right. I met presidents, kings, and movie stars, but I never forgot where I came from. Hoboken was still in my blood. No matter how high I climbed, I was still that kid with a broomstick for a microphone. But fame has a dark side. The parties got wilder, the nights longer, and the loneliness deeper. You can be surrounded by thousands of people and still feel completely alone. I knew that feeling all too well. By the early 60s, I'd been to hell and back. But I was ready to rise again. I built my own label, Reprise Records, because I wanted control over my music. For the first time, I was calling the shots. Then came My Way. You've heard it, everyone has. That song wasn't just lyrics to me. It was my life story in 4 minutes. Every word, every note was me saying I lived on my own terms. When I sang That's Life, I meant it. Life really does knock you down. But the trick is getting back up with a smile and a song. I'd learned to turn pain into rhythm. I worked with the best, Count Basie, Quincy Jones, and Antonio Carlos Jobim. Each one taught me something new about timing, emotion, and groove. Music was never just notes for me. It was conversation. In the late 60s, while rock and roll took over the world, people said I was outdated. But I didn't chase trends. I let my voice do the talking. Turns out, class never goes out of style. Off stage, I wasn't perfect, not by a long shot. I had a temper, made mistakes, lost friends. But I also helped people quietly, gave money, gave chances. I never liked to talk about that part. I had 4 kids, Nancy, Frank Jr., Tina, and my stepdaughter, AJ. They kept me grounded. Fame can make you forget who you are, but family brings you back down to earth. I married Barbara later in life. She was my anchor, my peace. After years of storms, I finally found calm seas. Funny how love finds you when you're not even looking. Even in my 70s, I kept performing. The lights, the crowd, the music, it still gave me life. When I stepped on stage, the years melted away. I wasn't old Frank, I was just Frank Sinatra. One of my favorite moments was singing New York, New York. That city had grit, glamour, and guts, just like me. When the crowd sang along, I felt like the king of the world. As the years went by, I started to slow down. The voice got softer, the shows fewer. But the fire inside never went out. I look back and think, what a ride it's been. I left the stage for good in the mid-90s. The spotlight faded, but the songs stayed. People still played my records, still danced, still loved. That's the real magic. Music lives longer than any man. On May 14th, 1998, I took my final bow. My last words were simple. I'm losing. But truth is, I didn't lose. I lived, loved, sang, and left something behind. And as long as someone plays my song, I'm still here.